All right. I assume we are live.
It looks like it, yeah.
It looks
Hi.
like it. Hello, guys. Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Trufflepig Forensics, the CEO, in fact. Very glad to be your host today for our Trufflepig Community Call, the first one actually that we do. With me today, and I'm very happy about that, is Chris, who is our CTO and basically the initial inventor of the whole product. I'm going to say a few words about that in a couple of seconds. But he's going to lead you through the majority of the presentation today. I'll just do the intro and then be back for the Q&A in the end. Again, welcome from our Pfaffenhofen office. Pfaffenhofen is in Germany. It's a small city for those of you who don't know it. It's north of Munich, between Munich and Ingolstadt, actually. It's a small city and with lots of quiet areas that allow for maximum concentration, of course, for on what we want to do, which is develop good forensic software. So a couple of words about us for the ones who are maybe new to us, who don't know us that well. We are Trufflepig Forensics. We kind of started off with a goal in mind to build an intuitive, fast, and automated memory forensic solution, because we think that, and we strongly believe that memory is one of the best data sources that are out there for IT forensics and also incident response. Chris developed the idea initially when he was working for the German Federal Law Enforcement Agency, so the so-called BKA. He was dealing with tools in memory forensics, and he just saw potential to innovate, as he's a technical person himself and likes to also program. He started off with his friend Olli, who is the third co-founder in the company, to theorize about a solution for how to really build a forensics software that is fully automated and that doesn't require, for example, profiles to be specified or any of those things that currently have to be done manually. What we are building currently is, I would say, much more than that. It is still a memory forensics engine, but we are kind of moving or expanding into different areas as well. Chris will probably give you a good idea about that today. I think you can expect a lot from us in the areas of IT forensics, in general IT forensics software, and also specific incident response software. The goal for today is to go through or to give you a clear view of where we are currently with our development and where we are heading. For those of you who don't know it yet, we have a roadmap also out there where we specify what issues we are working on. You can always look it up. We are trying to keep it as up-to-date as possible. I mean, there are things changing all the time.
To be honest, right now it's not very up-to-date, so we really need to update that.
Yeah, we're currently also reworking our website a bit. It's out there. We're trying to be as transparent as we can. And of course, we welcome all feedback and, of course, also constructive criticism that we can get. We are new to the scene. We are open about that. We for sure made and will make some mistakes. We had some issues, for example, after our initial release with the Windows installer. Things there didn't work, or with the Windows version in general, as well as we were hoping for, because we started off with Linux. We are kind of Linux developers. We need to adjust. We put great emphasis on that. I think it's much more stable now. Still, I beg your pardon if there were any inconveniences in the process. We, in the last year, I would say improved drastically our testing procedures. Now they work quite well. They work so well that with our current release, which is a big one, Trufflepig Nexus 1.1, introduces the database structure and a lot more associated to that. It went so well, I would say that that we needed to postpone multiple times, and unfortunately also today there were some issues which prevented us from releasing. We are currently finalizing all those issues, and as soon as everything is sorted out, and we are 100% confident that the software works in every regard perfectly, we will release it. So from my side, I think that's it as an introduction. Again, I want to thank all of you, especially the ones who have been trying our software, who have been directly in touch with us and giving us feedback. For all your support, for all your trust, and
and patience.
And your patience. Yeah. I mean, IT forensics is a hard subject, and we're not making any secrets about that. We are not copying anything, so we are building the software from scratch, and this takes time, but we try to be as open and transparent as possible. So with that, thanks again to all of you. Also, have a nice Christmas. I mean, we have some Christmas Wichtel here. It's a German the German word, basically a dwarf. Hope it brings us luck, and you too, for Christmas. I'll see you in the Q&A, and now I'll hand it over to Chris to guide you through the technical part of the presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. I'm not entirely sure if you can already see the presentation, but I guess not yet. So as Aaron already mentioned, we are at version 1.1 with the upcoming release, and we finally have the database in there. And I will just walk you through what will change with this release, and also give a small live demo. In the end, also show you what is coming in the future, like future development. I just saw in the presentation there's the dump me challenge. Unfortunately, it's not that, because we've had some technical problems still. So I will show you a different image, but I will show you live the database capabilities that we have now, at least parts of them. And so let's go to the current development. So first of all, we have sessions and stations in this release. A session is basically an artifact type that can have multiple processes. If you start a new session as a user, you will get a new session structure in the kernel as well, and you will be able to associate certain processes with that session, which of course is pretty interesting to see in a forensic investigation. I can show you an example later. And the stations, they belong to users as well. To be quite honest, I'm not 100% sure how this all relates, because one of my colleagues did all the implementation work. This is one of the first features where I'm not entirely sure what exactly is going on there under the hood. But as far as I understood, we have different users. For example, this service OXO 3E7, and I think that's the station of the local services user, something like that. What we will achieve with that, apart from better visualizations, which process belongs to which session and so on, we will also be able to extract more user information, and most interestingly for us at the moment is the clipboard data that we will be able to extract probably with the next update, so 1.1.1. But sessions and stations are in this release. They do work. That's it with this slide. We have a bunch of bug fixes, so there was some threads missing in the output because I've had a minor bug that filtered out a couple of threads that were valid. Not too many, I think like 30 to 40, that's less than 10%, but yeah, it's definitely too much. We fixed that. We fixed some relations from threads to processes, and my laptop just went dark. So there are more relations being found now. So which mutex was acquired by which thread. And most importantly, we have a major registry parsing rework in this release, which gives us way more results. And yeah, also, for example, the shimcache registry key, which was missing before. And we also have a shimcache parser. It did not make it into this release. I will come to the why a bit later. It was a major rework with all the structures. And yeah, we were not able to port that to the new version yet, but that will probably also come in January or February, probably in an upcoming release. Yeah, I think we can go to the next slide. So in regards to the database, which is the most most relevant update for this release, we do have a live demo. And yeah, as mentioned before, not everything in the front end is as stable as it should be. So yeah, we are still working on it. But yeah, we can go to the live demo. Sorry, I will wait a second. No, I still can't see it on my screen. I still see the presentation. Okay, yeah, but in the meantime, while we are sorting out, oh yeah, thanks, perfect. So this is our default test image that I have here. So I just created the project basically and analyzed it. So the analysis will directly start when creating the project, and after that you can always go back. Just click on it and you will be in the you will see the results. In this view, the dashboard that you know from the previous version as well. This is one of the shortcomings that we've had because of major issues that we faced during implementation. So there's no data being displayed here, but the data is there. So we can, for example, go to the processes, and we see all the processes as you know it. The process tree is also in here. A colleague of mine implemented that, and it works as before. Just the link is missing. So right now I can't show it, but it's there. For the database updates, we have sorting now, so you can click on a column and it will sort the elements in the from the database and show it here. And we have multi-level sorting implemented. So here I can just click on the next field, reverse order and everything. There are also some not yet filtered processes in there, but it doesn't really matter. Now it's not sorted anymore for PID, but and name is first order sorting now again. That's basically the sorting. Filtering is also implemented in a different branch, but I didn't have the chance before the webinar now to rebase to that branch. But searching or filtering is implemented, which is of course really relevant. We have pagination, so you can click through all the processes here, or filter for what's relevant to you. Thanks, Arash. We can go back to the presentation. Okay, what we will do with a database, apart from filtering and sorting and getting back to the old feature level, is of course, we have a bunch of new possibilities with a database, with the functionality of the database, and one of them is a timeline view, which we will definitely integrate in the near future. And this is a design mockup from our designer, and here you can mostly see registry files that were, or in this case even registry data that was modified, started processes and so on, right after system start, I think. So all the data with a timestamp will be in there. Next slide, thanks. And we will also implement tagging and nodes, so those two will come very soon. You may also see the generate report button. That will also be in a future release, but most likely not in February, so we will take or need more time for that. But tagging will come soon, so you can find data that you were taking a look at earlier again, and also add a comment to it, and then in the end just putting out all the data, so you will be able to export it, just not generating a fancy report that will probably take longer. This is a first draft of how the report generation may look like. So you can say, okay, you want certain nodes or bookmarks included in the report and certain artifacts, and add all those to the report and then generate it. That's at least the plan. We will need to test a lot and see what's really user friendly or in a good UX. This is our current plan for the fully leveraging all the features that we can get from the database. I already mentioned feature-wise we also have some, artifact-wise we also have some interesting new things coming up. Clipboard and Shimcache, I mentioned those. We also are working on hibernation files, which will also come in the release after 1.1. We were facing some issues there, to be honest, because we were thinking naively, okay, we can just implement a reader on them. So basically have a virtual mapping and just integrate them in our workflow, and that's basically it. Unfortunately, though, we need to convert them. At least that's how it looks like now. To get them in fast, we need to actually convert them to a different file format, and can then analyze the image, which is unfortunate, but that is how it looks at the moment. And then, of course, with the database, with the registry that is fully working now, we can also extract shellbacks and more user information from the registry. And as I mentioned earlier, we also have other sources for user information that we will be able to extract. Other than that, Aaron already mentioned that we want to do way more than just analyzing memory. So one of the reasons why it took so long to do this rework and to get the database working is that we want to do it in a very modular way and in a very automated way, so that we don't have to integrate new features in the protocol and in everything. So if we have a new artifact type that we want to extract, like for example an event from the Windows event log, just as an example, that we can just define that event, and the whole chain knows about that structure then. Which basically means we just define that in our backend. So for those of you who don't know, we have a design. We have the backend that basically holds together the whole thing. It's a server application, so you can either run it on a normal workstation or laptop, or also on a server, and it connects to the database, and it provides a API for the front end. So the front end is a single page application, so you can open it in any web browser. And the backend will then offer certain features to the front end. For example, give it a way to communicate with a minion, and the minion is the main analysis tool. And the whole communication between those four parts, database, backend, minion, and front end, is fully auto-generated. So we don't need to worry about explaining each individual part, how to interpret the data. They just know because we just implemented this framework where we define that data structure once and use it everywhere in like 3 different languages or 4 different languages. So yeah, that's the main reason why it took that long. But now we have this SDK generation, and we want to use the full potential of that. So we need some further cleanups and modularization of the minion part, and then we will be able to most likely even open source some parts of that infrastructure, and give you also as users the opportunity to write your own plugins for the whole system. I mean, we can see it every day with volatility. It's a pretty cool project, and everyone can participate in the development. And we also want to give you the opportunity and the whole community the opportunity to develop with our software. And yeah, the missing parts are basically cleanups so that we can show the code to the world, and also the modularization, as I said. But I would say that the really hard work of it is done, which is really cool. Okay. Also, Aaron mentioned incident response. For that, we want we call it distributed analysis. So what that basically means is in the first stage, which is coming next, so in the next six to 7 months, we will integrate basic multi-image analysis visualizations in the front end. So you will be able to add multiple images, memory images to the analysis, and see the results in one view, and understand better how they relate to each other. Maybe there are processes running on some of the images, and on some others they are not present. So seeing those things is one of the goals that we have. Then a Windows driver for acquisition and also for accessing memory live is also a goal. So right now, as most of you probably know, we don't have an acquisition tool yet. But yeah, that's the plan for early next year. We already have some proof of concepts, mostly for Linux. And I think it's safe to say that we will develop the acquisition part in an open source setting next year. So that's I think that's pretty safe to say. And then, of course, remote analysis. So we can deploy the minion and the driver to a system via either via remote login or even the domain controller of his network, so that we can analyze the whole network. This is more or less the proof of concept that we envision. The whole thing we are currently looking for funding for that to make our team bigger and get more development resources. And with that, we will implement advanced multi-image visualizations. We have a lot of ideas that we want to get ready, and virtualizing the endpoints to reduce attack surface. So right now, as far as I'm aware, all the incident response tools, they are all using userland tools to analyze the memory. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know any tool that does like ring -1 analysis or something like that. And what we want and envision is basically we deploy a tool that elevates privileges to ring -1, virtualize the whole endpoint, and then analyze it from ring -1. So the attack surface for malware is drastically removed, I would say, because during the whole analysis, or the only chance a rootkit would have to get in our way with the analysis is to get into the elevation process, which should be as fast and small as possible, so that we should have a very limited attack surface here. That's the plan for the incident response part. And now, as I already said, I unfortunately can't really show a lot in that image because we still had some issues. But I can show you some parts in the other image, for example, the sessions that I mentioned before, and some other nice things. So if you could go back to the analysis, please. Unfortunately, right before the webinar, we tested again, and of course, we've had a problem, and now it's not as smooth as planned and tested before. But I hope it works well enough. So here we have the sessions, and we have the processes that are associated with this specific session, and we can just click on the processes and then see the process list right next to it, the filtered one. So these are only the processes associated with that session, and there we can directly see. And now I need to take a look which one it was, but I think it's the other one. Give me a second. Hello. Okay. There we go. So this is the system session. And there's the PowerShell process in that system session, which is, of course, so that's not really, it's suspicious. It's directly suspicious that there's a PowerShell process, and this PowerShell process is terminated. And all the user processes are running in the other session. So those kind of things you will be able to see with the session, which is, I think, is pretty cool. We can't see the Yarascan results yet. So Yarascans are working, of course, again, but unfortunately we can't. There was an error with getting them working in the new setup. So this PowerShell process. Oh no, not the PowerShell process, but the other. The VinLogon, I think it's in the other session, has an IOC hit Yara scanner, and there are multiple RWX sections in that specific process, and there's one which contains a TCP reverse shell from Metapreta. So that's basically what the Yara scan finds. And you probably know it, or most of you probably know it from the other, from the old version. And it was started, so the connection was started in the PowerShell process, and the winlogon still uses that session. And yeah, the visualizations are mostly missing, but all the data is already there. So yeah, sorry that we couldn't show much more, but I think you can see that there's a lot of progress, and the engine that we built is really worth waiting for, because this, for us, development-wise, this will really be a game changer. So we will be able to implement much faster and more reliable, because all the protocol stuff is already tested and it just works. Yeah, and as I said, one of the coolest features, I think, will be the option to open source at least part of the product, and give the community a chance to also implement plugins for it. Yeah, thanks. That's pretty much it. I think we can go back to the presentation. Okay, yeah. So if you want to ask us anything, please feel free. Aaron is back as well. And yeah,
Left.
Didn't even left. Yeah, you weren't visible on the screen. Oh yeah, and I think we have a delay. So if you ask a question, it might be that it takes 30 seconds or a minute until we can answer it. Okay, yeah, thanks. That's kind.
Yeah. So also from myself, thanks Chris for the
Yeah, no
presentation. I think it's always hard. Like if you rework stuff in the protocol, it's not, like, at least from my, let's say, naive non-techie eyes, you don't really see that much in the front end. Yeah, but it's, from what I understood, really a major change in our software.
Yeah.
Which will elevate the speed in which we can deliver new features in the future a lot. It also sets the basis for all the multi-image analysis, distributed analysis features we want to have. And in general, I mean, the ability to not only look at a couple of results, but thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of results, filter through them and sort through them, search in them. I mean, this is something that opens a whole new domain of capabilities for us.
Yeah, just for perspective, in that image, we extracted 360,000 artifacts. And we did not do any optimizations at all. And it took so the longest part was inserting them into the database, which takes, for that image, roughly on my machine, which doesn't have an SSD, and an SSD is really crucial for database performance. I think it took like 20 to 30 seconds. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty decent performance for the database, and we will need to include indices and stuff like that will further improve the speed for usability and everything.
One of the guys has asked, like, can I see user accounts and hash values? And also he asked, there are some tools I saw on the net, like bin analyze and CyberTriage. So any comments?
Okay, yeah, so so the question was if we have user accounts or information on user accounts and hashes and so on. I would consider that pretty much Mimikatz functionality, which we do not have yet. But with the release, I need to check that if that's possible. So we are able to dump a process memory And I think Mimikatz has the option to analyze a dumped process. I'm not entirely sure, maybe I'm wrong, but I think I've seen some functionality in Mimikatz regarding that, which would give you indirectly the option to dump user hashes. But yeah, to be quite honest, I'm not entirely sure. I need to verify that. But it's planned that we implement that and fully integrate that into the UI, of course. So that's definitely the plan. But right now, it might work with a workaround.
Yeah, maybe with regards to CyberTriage, I think this was mentioned here.
Yeah.
It's a great product. They are probably a bit further than us. Yeah, I mean, they already have implemented distributed analysis. You can look at multiple endpoints at the same time. We are not there yet, to be quite honest. Yeah, and we need lots of additional resources to get it working to a level that we are happy with. The goal is clearly to go there, and we are doing everything we can to get there as fast as possible. So with the current project plan, we want to be there or have a first version that we are happy to release beginning of 2023. So this is our internal goal. I'm not gonna put it out there already as a openly let's say formulated or communicated goal, because things can change fast. But we want to go there as soon as we can, and then build this whole thing on top of our own analysis engines. So this is the major difference, I would say. We're not using many third-party libraries and analysis libraries. We are building that on top of our own engine. This has certain advantages, in terms of reliability, speed and automation. So we want to have a product in the end that is as easy to use as possible in a setting of an incident response. So theoretically, hypothetically, optimally, you would just need to go there, select the endpoints you want to analyze, click a button, stream all the results back to your central analysis machine without any issues, and the results should come very reliably. So very little chance for error. This is what we're going for.
They also ask about command line history.
Command line history. Okay, so let me think about that. So as far as I'm aware, there is a PowerShell history in the event log of Windows. At least that's what I remember. And event logs, to be honest, I forgot to include it in the presentation. We already have a proof of concept for event log extraction, so that is also coming within the next couple of months. For CMD history, I'm not sure where we can get that. Maybe just in the running CMD. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I just don't know it. I didn't take a look yet. But yes, we are planning for that as well. So in general, those kind of information. In general, running applications. So what we have, and as far as I'm aware, there is only a proof of concept in volatility for that. So I think for Windows 10, we are the only ones supporting that at the moment. Basically, iterating the heap of an application or of all applications that we're running, and parsing the heap structure to get the allocations, so we can display all allocations of an application. Right now, for NT backend heaps, there are, I think, two different types: the NT heap and the other one. And then there's backend and front end, and for the other heap, there are two more. So all in all, 6 different implementations that we need to support everything. And we've implemented the first one. And if we support all of them, you can see all the actual allocations that any program did. And what we want to build on top of that is, or on top of any of the, so we call it chunks. So every allocation or memory region is a chunk. It has an address and an end or a size. And we want to include a functionality in the front end that you can input a pattern or regular expressions, whatever, things like that, and you can say, okay, you want to search for that in the following chunks. So you can say, okay, only allocations of the application, and for each valid pointer that is being found in that allocation, you want to analyze plus minus, I don't know, 50 bytes following that pointer for a more or less recursive search, up to whatever, 3 or 4 layers. There will be a point where it becomes really slow to a certain depth, starting with a certain depth. But with this kind of stuff, we also want to speed up development. So this is what we are working on or towards at the moment. For example, the ports of network connections in Windows 11, they changed drastically, and looking for the correct port is pretty hard work, either in a reverse engineering engine like Ghidra or IDA Pro, or you have to search through all the pointers manually, search for a value that is known to be the port. And that is really, really frustrating and a time-consuming process. So we want to automate that stuff. And there will also be the option to just run strings on all allocations. So you will just get all the strings of a memory or of the memory of an application. You can say, okay, you only want strings from the allocated chunks, or you want only allocations that are 100% string. Things like that. So with that, we don't even need to implement like a history for one specific application. Even if we don't support that specific application, you will be able to click through the front end, apply those rules, and see at least parts of the history that is still in memory in that allocation, or in the allocations of that application. Oh yeah, my screen went dark again.
Okay,
yeah, there's the chat.
And of course, for the ones of you who might think this explanation is a bit too technical, or in general, the features that we talk about are very technical, we're of course also working on bringing to you more, let's say, high-level visualizations and features, so that you don't need to know about all those structures yourself in that, let's say, to that degree, but that you can just see things out of the box without, being an expert on how Windows works, for example. Yep. Of course, there will always be the need to understand some things in, the structure of Windows, for being able to analyze a memory image, but we are working on making it easier and easier, so that in the end you can really focus on the important things of the analysis.
Yeah, and I've just read something about log to timeline. Yeah, so that was in the presentation as well. This is definitely a focus, bringing a timeline where you can see also correlations between artifacts in the timeline. Yeah. This is definitely planned, and as Aaron said, as user-friendly and high-level as possible, but also for the experts to go deeper into what's happening. Yeah, so basically a bit hidden, so that for most people it's a good and usable software. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
I think that was it.
Okay. Then again, from my side, I wish you, thank you all for being here today, for joining us today. From wherever you are in the world, would be interesting to also see the statistics afterwards, because we have quite an international community, to be honest, and we are very happy about that. Yeah, I can only say thank you for your support this year. I hope you keep an eye on us, keep looking at the new stuff that we get out. Keep an eye on our website, on the roadmap especially. You can always download the free version of the software if you want to test it out, or just contact us if you're want the full version. Yeah, and apart from that, have a great Christmas time if you're Christian, or even if not, if you celebrate it in general. Have some good and relaxing last days of the year, and let's all hope that we maybe get a better year in terms of the pandemic next year, so that we can all have more fun together again. Thanks everyone. Nice evening in Germany or in the European region. Nice day if you're in America. Sleep well if you are somewhere in Asia. We hope to see you again. We will have more community calls next year. Basically, we want to do it as standard tool for expressing ourselves and sharing news with you. So stay with us, and all the best. See you.
Yeah, thanks a lot also from my side. I just read the link analyzer. We also need that for the Windows version. So at least parts of the analyzer for actually supporting links on Windows. Thanks also from my side. It was very nice to have the first community call. Really looking forward to more, and have a good New Year and a good Christmas holidays, and bye bye.